Hey gang, I'm back, and my Steam backlog hasn't gotten any smaller. In fact, it's gotten worse. Much, much worse. Dear God in heaven, how did I let this happen worse? So let's not waste any more time. This is Random Steam Games, Volume 2.
Oh my god, Becky, look at that backlog. It is so big.
Baby Got Backlog.
Seventh Legion. Yep, this is the title screen. It just completely goes berserk, spinning the video at what I'm assuming is 5 times the normal speed, which is bizarre considering the opening intro runs fine. Well, whatever, this came out in 1997 and was made to run on much slower computers, but still, damn. Anyway, I started up the game to learn to my dismay that this is an RTS. Well, shit, that's strike 1, but strikes 2 through 3,782 are that I can't figure out the controls. It seems like total annihilation, where I should be able to deploy this mobile base, but nothing I do makes it actually happen. Left click, right click, both, hold left click, hold right click, hold both, clicking the mouse wheel, enter, control, a lack of control, the space bar, a candy bar, a tiki bar, doesn't freaking matter! I can't do anything and I die within minutes! Fuck 7th Legion. Next. 1990X. This is a severely fucked up RPG Maker game where a likable, foul-mouthed main character finds herself in a hospital where women are regularly given paroxysms, read as forced orgasms, to treat hysteria. But the fact that you, the player, controls her is actually part of the story. In fact, the game gave me quite a shock when I moved her off the hospital bed and she freaked out because she wasn't in control of her body. There are quite a few funny moments, and as lead characters go, Clara's interesting and enjoyable, but the subject matter is concerning. I haven't played far enough into it to know where they're going with the world they've built, but all I'll say is that I'm intrigued enough to keep playing. Next. The Age of Decadence Demo. This is a demo for a tactical RPG by Iron Tower Studio that's apparently been in development for over 10 years, since 2004. It's a hardcore, old-school RPG with very difficult combat. Don't expect to be an overpowered action hero in this game, as in real life, even coming up against more than one opponent can be fatal. But you don't have to be a combat monkey. The game allows for social or mental ways out of trouble. You can play a grifter or a thief, and these are backgrounds, not classes. So if you want to play a muscle-bound combat monkey thief, you can. I liked it, honestly, even though I tend to prefer being the overpowered action hero. This game lends attention to combat that's rather delightful. Even getting cornered by 2 thugs was terrifying, but I was still able to come out on top thanks to my mercenary being decently skilled at combat, and I love that your choices have consequences. Looking forward to the full game release in October. Next. Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes. This game is fun, fucked up, and jumping Jeebus, that's all? This is the second Baby Got Backlog game I've finished, and this time, that's by complete accident. I was prepared for the game to be short, honestly. I've read enough and heard enough about this game to expect a short game, but 90 minutes? I beat the game in less than an hour and a half because completing the second objective literally ends the game. And they released this for $30. Having said that, what I played was good. Lots of ways to handle lots of situations. It really gives one faith that a sandbox stealth game can and will work. And it makes me think that Phantom Pain will really be a worthwhile investment. But Ground Zeroes would not have been at full price. I'm glad I paid only $5 for it, but even that seems excessive for what is essentially just a demo. Next. Paper Sorcerer. Jim Sterling of the Jimquisition recommended this on his Steam Curator page, so when I saw it on sale, I decided to give it a shot. It's an interesting first-person RPG with a unique premise. You're actually the bad guy, a sorcerer who was terrorizing the country until some heroes trapped you in a magic book. You explore the paper dungeon you find yourself in and can summon creatures to help you out in turn-based combat. I enjoyed my time with it, the aesthetics are interesting, and it's delightfully old school. I don't know that I'm going to finish it, but if it looks like it might be your thing, it's interesting enough that I'd recommend you give it a try. Next, Penguin's Arena, Sedna's World. I got this game in a bundle somewhere, so we're starting off on a bad footing in that I had no interest in it. It just came with other games I might have been interested in. The story's not a great hook. Penguin tribes are eating all the food in the world and are starting to starve, so a penguin god tells them to shoot each other off of icebergs? It's alright, I guess, but I got bored quickly. It might be good for children, as it's pretty non-violent, and the design is pretty cute, but as for me, I remain just as non-interested in it as I was when I bought it. Next, Revolver 360 Reactor. This was recommended by George Weidman, aka Super Bunny Hop, and I can see why. This is an impressive shoot-'em-up with the mechanic of revolving the world around the ship, allowing you to rotate bullets and make them easier to dodge. But it's not a game for people who don't like the color blue. Fucking everything is blue. Epic levels of blue. This game is great fun, and I'm actually halfway decent at it, which is a shocker, as I'm usually awful at shmups. Not as awful as I am at RTSs, but still quite shit. But this game's got giant bosses, loads of modes to play, hidden routes, and power-ups aplenty. Go check it out. Next, Fra Tales of Werewolves. This has been in my Steam library for just about forever. I've just never given it a shot until now. It's a third-person action game with elements of tower defense, and while I'm quite familiar with third-person action, tower defense is a genre I've never been able to get into, and like Dungeon Defenders, marrying tower defense with third-person action helps, but it's not enough to keep me invested, I'm afraid. Having said that, the story is kind of interesting, if a bit predictable so far, and I gotta say that the setting is impressively unique. And the gameplay all works, it just isn't my kind of game. If it's yours, though, I'd heartily recommend a look. Next, Star Ruler. I recently got chewed out by a friend who asked my opinion on Star Ruler, and couldn't believe that I owned a game I hadn't played. I wonder what he's gonna think when he finds out I own 805 games I haven't played. In any event, that gave me the excuse to scope it out. And disappointingly, it's another RTS. From what I can tell, it's a perfectly good RTS. In fact, the tutorial is pretty good at explaining the mechanics. I just can't bring myself to give a shit. I'd much rather jump in a ship and fly around blowing other ships myself than ordering ships to do it for me. On the flip side, my friend really seemed to like it, enough at least that he bought the sequel, Star Ruler 2, on early access, and he seems to really enjoy that. So if RTSs are your cup of tea, you might want to check this one out. Next, Veteran Combat. It seems like in every batch of Baby Got Backlog games, there's one that makes me go, what the serious fuck? This is that game. It's a Mortal Kombat clone, quite literally. A 2D fighter with digitized sprites. It looks like a bunch of friends dressed up in bad World War II Halloween costumes and did punches and kicks in front of a camera and then handed the film off to a group of programmers who never made a fighting game before. I mean, it's functional, but it's incredibly wonky. Criminally, you can't use a controller, and setting the keys on the keyboard is arduous because if the key is used by the other player, nothing changes. If you want to swap keys between them, it's incredibly frustrating. The fighting's not all that great, second-rate at best, janky at worst. The colorless, old-timey film filter is different, but in this case, different does not mean good. And that announcer.
So, what's the news today? It's March. So it's fighting time. And if it's fighting time, it's March.
Ugh. What a waste of time. I want my 15 minutes back. I'll catch you guys next time.